everything you need to know about Hasbro's first Power Rangers figures. Screen Rant recently announced Hasbro's first Power Ranger figures. In the announcement, the description reads, "The figures in the Power Rangers Beast Morphers Basic Figure Assortment stand 6 inches tall, feature multiple points of articulation, and include 2 accessories. Plus, with the included Morph-X key, kids can imagine unlocking powers in the Beast-X Morpher toy. The assortment includes the Red Ranger figure, Blue Ranger figure, Yellow Ranger figure, Cybervillain Blaze figure, and Tronic figure." These figures are supposed to retail for $9.99 and will be available this spring. Let's start off by talking about the articulation. Now, I've got to say, I was really worried about this one. Looking at some of Hasbro's other superhero lines that are in this price range for the $10 price point, looking at the Enter the Spider-Verse figures and Marvel Infinity War, these figures, they have no knees. How do you have a Spider-Man figure with no knees? I mean, that's not really an action figure, that's just kind of a figure. He can't really pose or do much. So I was kind of worried about that. The good news is, with these Beast Morpher figures and the basic line, the legs move up and down, and the knees bend. Yes, the knees actually bend. So I was really excited to see that. Reading through some forums and some fan theories of why the other figures' knees don't bend and why these figures' knees do bend, one fan offered up is that for the Marvel characters, Hasbro has to pay a licensing fee to create those figures, whereas Power Rangers is owned by Hasbro, so there is no licensing fee. So perhaps they could have taken that little bit of extra money and put it into the figure and added some extra poseability. Maybe that's the reason why, I'm not really sure, but good fan theory for sure. So the legs move up and down, knees bend, the elbows bend, the arms appear to rotate up and down and side to side, the wrists appear to rotate, and the heads turn. And I can't really tell if the boots or waist rotate or not, but they might. So let's talk about the figure details. Something that was really interesting about this is these figures, they're not super muscular. And if you're used to the Bandai line of toys, for years, going back to, I remember the Lost Galaxy super steroid looking Rangers with like 20 abs, and so like they didn't even have a six pack, they had like 20 abs. It's crazy. And now they actually look show accurate. It's not super crazy steroid muscles. Here's a Legacy figure, and this is one of the toned down muscular looks, and as you can see, he still has a six pack, which isn't accurate to the show. So pretty cool there. A lot of fans are excited about this line, the fact that they actually look show accurate. Another area of figure details is it actually shows fabric materials. You can see the bends of the leather, and this is something that's never been shown before in a figure. I mean, yeah, in the backs before we've seen like where the belt buckle might latch, or you know, we might see on the boots kind of it's like a little bit of a line where the leather seams meet, but no actual bending of the fabric and the material and the texture. It's just, that's never been there before, but now it is, and that's really cool. Speaking of better detail, paint. My first reaction when I saw these figures was literally, you've got to be kidding me. The figure and weapons are both painted, and it's the same price point as before. If you look at the past figures that Bandai's released, you'll see that the weapons are always solid color. They're never painted. And in these Hasbro figures, they're actually painted, which is really cool. And speaking of the price point, these figures are a full inch taller than the ones that Bandai was releasing just a year ago. And again, it's the same retail price point. So this marks the first time that the main line of Power Ranger figures is going to be 6 inches tall. Historically, most of the figures have been around 5 inches or so. Going back to the very first figure launched in fall of 1993 was this guy. Well, one of these guys.
It's the Mighty Morphin Power Rangers, Teenage Defenders of Earth.
It's the 8-inch figure, and they were
too hot to handle.
So after that was out for a little while, the very next season, in fall of 1994, Bandai released the critically acclaimed and must-have Automorphin figure. And yes, this featured the flip head action that everyone's familiar with.
It's transforming time!
And no, this is not the remake, this is an original, still in the package. Funny story, I got this at a local yard sale about a year ago. Anyways, back on subject. So After they released the Automorphin figures in 1994, Bandai continued to release all of the Power Ranger figures in 5.5-inch form from 1994 all the way until Power Rangers RPM in 2009. And then in 2010, Bandai changed the formula a little bit. They shrunk the figures down to 4 inches with the launch of the Mighty Morphin reversion. Yeah, that one year we went without a new Power Ranger season because Disney canceled the show after RPM. Anyways, after Saban bought the rights back to Power Rangers from Disney and brought the show back for Power Rangers Samurai, the figures remained at that 4-inch tall size, and they continued at that size until 2013's Power Rangers Megaforce. Starting with Super Megaforce in 2014, Bandai went back to the familiar 5-inch size. Not quite the 5.5-inch, but, lost an inch, but hey, it's bigger than those tiny 4-inch figures. Bandai continued with this 5-inch size until the 2018 Power Rangers Super Ninja Steel, which was the last figure that Bandai would release. So, with these new 6-inch figures from Hasbro, they're gonna be a little bit bigger than what we're used to, for the main figure line anyways. Yeah, I know we've got the legacy figures that are 6.5 inches and various other figure sizes that we've had before, but those are all collectors and more expensive premium items. They're not really the main figure line. For the main price point that most kids are going to be buying, this is the first time that we've had a figure that's 6 inches tall. So that's really exciting. We've got great articulation, we've got great figure details, we've got better paint jobs, we've got a whole nother inch taller of a figure, and it's the same price. Alright guys, I hope you liked this first look at the basic line of Power Ranger Beast Morpher toys from Hasbro. As soon as these guys are available in stores, I plan on picking up some and doing full video reviews of these figures. So if you want to see more and be the first to know when that comes out, please hit subscribe and stay tuned for more. Thanks for watching.